This just in. As of last Monday, there's a new sheriff in town. As the big orange man and his crew of misfits settle into their new spot on Pennsylvania Avenue, we figured it was time to bring in our expert political analyst from the field and have him tell us exactly what he saw on the campaign trail. What? Don't think we're big enough to have a field correspondent? Well, you're wrong. We do have one. He just doesn't get paid, that's all. A previous guest whose episode has the most views of any episode has decided to step back into the basement and tell us what he thinks about everything that went down during the last election season. And believe me, this kid pulls no punches. He shares the good, the bad, and the most memorable moments from the crazy presidential race. Everything from assassination attempts and garbage trucks to word salads and felony convictions. We will not be doing the Hidden Talents segment on this episode, but our field correspondent will blow your mind when he does his spot-on impersonation of President Trump.
A lot of guys.
Here's your host, Bubba Seaman.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. What is up? Welcome back for another episode of the best new podcast that everyone is talking about. This is real life we're talking here with real people without any of those phony filters. This is the real deal. This will be a special episode with a returning guest who owns the title of our most viewed episode. Except this time he's coming back as our very own What Is Up field correspondent and political analyst. I gotta say that better. I gotta be serious the first time, and then
it's fine, bro.
Here we go. Except this time, he's coming back as our very own What Is Up field correspondent and political analyst expert. No, he's not that into politics. I kind of talked him into doing this, but we're gonna get into what he really thinks happened last November. We can't go, if this is the What Is Up podcast, we can't go an election cycle and after what we saw happen, not devote an entire episode to the craziness that we saw go down. So we got to get into it. We're going to get into what he thinks really happened last November, see what he's been up to since his last appearance on the show, and we'll probably have quite a bit of fun too. So before we get into today's episode, I got to remind everyone, whether you're listening or watching in high definition, that's right, his first episode, there was no video. Now you get to see his charming face.
Charming.
So, please do not forget to subscribe, follow, like wherever you're listening or watching, guys. That means everything to us. Whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube, leave us that 5-star rating. If you're somewhere where there's a 5-star rating, you got to hit 5 stars. Okay? Click the little bell to be notified about every new episode. Tell us what you think, whether it's like or dislike, by leaving a comment, guys. That all helps get the podcast out to more and more people, new people. This is how we grow and reach more people. Follow our Instagram and Facebook. We're always doing reels now. We're doing giveaways. Well, we haven't done a giveaway in a while. I think we're about due, probably, aren't we? I think so. We need to do that. But follow our Facebook and Instagram for that kind of stuff. Share with all your friends on your social media. If I see you share our podcast, whether it's a reel or a clip or an episode, if I happen to see that, you might just get a free gift, because that means everything to me. Show off your impeccable taste by sporting some of our merch. All you got to do is email me at whatisuppodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you want, whatever shirt, hoodie, doesn't matter, size, color. You want a hat, you want a refrigerator magnet, you want one of our nice cups, we'll hook you up. And then send us a picture of yourself with our awesome gear, and I'll be sure and share that as well. But I also want to give a shout out and encourage all my listeners to go check out the Steve Brown Art Center. Man, that is the creative heart of Buchanan County, let me tell you. It's a thriving community where art flourishes. With dynamic exhibits and interactive workshops, they spark creativity and passion. Discover a world of artistic inspiration at the Steve Brown Art Center. To learn more about the Steve Brown Art Center, just head over to their Facebook page and check out what they're all about. Or you can check out Jim and Dale on the Steve Brown Art Center podcast, who I think might be making an appearance on this show coming up in the very near future. They're right over there, right out of good old Jessup, Iowa. Once you've done all that, then you can sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy the show. And let me tell you, we got a good one for you today. If you've been following us for any time at all, you will know that episode 26 was and is our highest viewed episode to date. But at some point in that episode, our guest slipped in this little comment that I caught. He said, I'm sure I'll be back on sometime. Well, I heard that, and today is that day. But this time he's got to play by my rules. So we're going to pretend that we are some serious big-time program, and I'm going to treat him like he's our political analyst and field correspondent from the last election season. No, he doesn't have a political science degree. What's your degree in?
Automotive technology.
Yeah, that's right. That is not political science, but who said you have to? Who said you got to have a political science degree? You don't. You don't have to be some super educated and arrogant, think you know it all everything to have an opinion about our government or about politics. Experts can be wrong. Polls can't always be trusted. And some people found that out the hard way this last election cycle. Just talk to people. Talk to people who are willing to talk, and you will quickly get your finger on the pulse of what Americans are thinking, okay? I just wanted to talk to a guy who pays attention and has an opinion and who isn't scared to share it. Actually, I don't think he's really scared of anything, to be honest. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming back our most viewed guest of all time and our expert political field correspondent, Brock Beesecker. What is up, man?
What is up?
Good to have you back. Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
All right. Your episode, what did we release that? Like end of summer, right at the start of like, it wasn't fall yet. It was into summer.
It was still pretty warm out.
Yeah, it was. So we probably recorded late July, early August, something like that.
Whenever the Trump shooting happened.
And it blew up. You know how many current views your part one of your episode has?
No clue.
Let's just go check it out and see where it's at. Right there. Brock Beesecker, part 1 of 2, 360 views. And it still goes up. Like, as people come to the podcast, they got to get caught up. So they go back. So that number's still growing. Yeah, there's always a drop-off with the part 2. But, man, and that's when we had the most fun. But that tells you right there, people were paying attention. People wanted to hear your story. People were interested in your story and the stuff you guys have gone through. So it was a very encouraging episode. It blew up. I was not expecting you to pass like a Tara Thomas who was on the news all the time, and I thought that would be our biggest.
Me and Tara Thomas actually talk quite a bit.
Do you really?
No. Dude, no way.
But yeah, I got a lot of good feedback from your episode, man. Did you? What was it like? Not that this is like a big deal or anything, but like, did you get any feedback from people?
Actually, the paparazzi was chasing me around.
That Fairbank paparazzi.
No, I actually had quite a few people reach out to me, and they just said that they were really touched by my story, and like, cause like not everyone knew.
Right.
Like they, like we talked about.
Had rumblings.
Yeah, they never really. So they were just like, not concerned, but they were just like, not sorry to hear that, but like they were just like touched by my story in a way.
Right.
I had a lot of people reach out, but yeah.
Like the Senate, like it's probably the same way me and Sarah felt after talking with you a couple nights. Like we're in your corner. That's it. People just letting you know, hey, we're in your corner. Like, yeah, most of that stuff's behind you now. The worst is behind you. Obviously there's still things to deal with in life, but like when you let somebody know you're in their corner, like you're there for them. If they ever need anything, you're there for them, praying for them, whatever, like for you, your sister, mom, everybody, and your dad. Like that's not lost on me either, but I figured there'd be a little bit of a response there.
Yeah.
So if everyone remembers episode 26, they remember you're passionate about kickboxing, all that stuff going on. So how is the fight game going, training, all that good stuff?
Pretty good. Been training here. I was supposed to have a fight in March, like a Grand Prix style tournament, but some stuff came up where I'm going to be gone for a while. So, but I will actually, one of the dudes I fought at my world tournament, I'm actually going to be training with him while I'm gone.
Okay.
We still talk quite. Yeah.
The guy, the black guy?
Yeah, Rico.
All right.
Yeah,
I thought I remember you saying he's from over there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hit him up. Like, we still talk, but I was like, hey, I'm gonna be around for a while if you wanna train. He's like,
Get in?
Yeah. Because then he's like, I'll get you in for free. I'm like, let's go.
What's he walking around at weight these days? Probably.
Dude, he's over 200. He's way bigger. Than me. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know how he cut that weight, but
Man,
dude, he's a beast.
That's wild.
Good dude though. Way cool.
But
dude.
you posted some pictures recently. You must be lifting and pumping in the creatine. You posted a picture recently, and I think it said, "Hey, I remember this guy."
Oh no!
And you were pretty jacked up. Or
No,
was that an old picture?
No, that was current. But like, I haven't touched the creatine in a while.
Okay.
I think it makes me slow.
Really?
Yeah. What was it? I was being dumb because someone said something. I was being dumb because I was like, oh, you should know that guy. Like, I was being dumb. I was just like, oh, whatever. I can't remember. Someone had said something about, I don't remember if it was about my fighting, but I was like whatever. And like, the way I like meant it was like, oh, I used to know him. Like, if I ever get big. But
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay.
Because like my mom was like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, why? And then I like read it back. I'm like, oh, I could see where that sounds bad. Like, oh, I used to know him. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I was like,
yeah.
oh, geez.
No.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
No, there's no arrogance there. No, because we're gonna get into that. We're gonna have somebody make an appearance on this episode, and you're gonna see what arrogance looks like. Yeah, no, that's not you, dude. That is not you. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like, I've been trying to get into the fitness train again a little bit. I ain't gonna race competitively. I ain't gonna do that stuff, but just something every day, whether it's, every hour on the hour, since I'm working at home, I'll do sit-ups, push-ups, whatever. And then, a couple days a week, I'll go for a run or whatever. But the ice bath thing, I got sucked into the ice bath. It's out in the garage right now. I've been doing it since like a week before Christmas because I heard even if you're not training, I heard there's benefits.
Yeah, I got a buddy that does it, and he said he's lost like a ton of weight doing it,
Okay,
which is
yeah.
weird. Which I guess I never knew what all the benefits were, but I used to.
Yeah, if you go on the Ice Pod Company's website, they'll have all the information there for you. They say getting in that cold, it triggers your brown fat, which I'm assuming that's like the hard to burn stuff or
Could
whatever.
be, I don't know.
And so it helps you burn that. It jacks up your metabolism a little bit. I haven't really noticed that, to be honest. But that,
I think it does because that's my buddy. Like,
well, yeah, he experienced.
Yeah.
My weight hasn't gone down, but you do get all these mental benefits, this dopamine and all these good chemicals. They all come out. Blood production, red cell blood production, all this stuff comes out, and it helps with anxiety and focus and all this stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, the first couple I did, it was pretty shocking when you got out of there. You felt really good. Now I'm just doing it because if you work out at all, that's the best thing you can do is put cold on the muscles for recovery. Yeah. So I'm doing that. You ever get into any of that? Have you done any?
I've done it before, but like it's been a while. Like I've done the cold shower stuff, but like in high school we used to do it a lot after like either football or just, I know we used to do them after track too. I remember Colin Schrader, he's like we had like a competition who could do it the longest. And I was in there for like 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It was way too long.
Wow, yeah, you don't need to do that.
No,
Holy
it was
cow.
cold.
Everything I read said like a minimum, depending on water temperature, it's got to be below 59. If it's not below 59.
Yeah, it was way colder than that.
And then like a minimum of 2, but a maximum of 8.
Yeah,
you don't need to go past 8 minutes. You're not getting any benefits from that. But
yeah, I didn't feel like I got any benefits out of it. Not out of that.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are into it. It sucked me in a little bit. I had a bunch of Shields gift cards, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm getting old. Every time seems like I go for a run or whatever, I come back. It's like I'm hurting for a couple days, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna try this stuff out. So we're gonna do that. Let's see. Another thing I wanted to catch up with you about. We had a big fight since the last time you came on to now. So I want to get your opinions on the whole Tyson Jake Paul fight. All around opinions.
I think the best part of that fight was when, like before the fight, when Mike Tyson walked, like he like hugged his, I don't know if it was his trainer or whoever, but then he walked back and his butt was hanging out. Do you see that?
No, that was at the end, wasn't it?
No.
That was
at the
before the
beginning.
fight?
Yeah, that was like when he was warming up.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that.
Was
I
the
didn't
best-
see it live.
Yeah.
I saw it afterwards
That was
because
the
we were
best-
having
yeah.
buffering issues.
Yeah, same. It was terrible.
We went through most of the undercard.
Yeah,
and then it started.
Yeah, I think that's when everyone started watching, but some of the undercard fights were terrible.
Yeah.
So bad. The women's fight right before that, before Tyson's fight was great.
Yeah, and that's when it started cutting out for us.
But I think they kind of robbed that chick, I thought.
Yeah.
Because the one chick like headbutted the other one, and the one who won.
Is that where all the blood came from?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
no, didn't get to see it.
Then the men's fight before that was pretty good, but the rest of them were.
Yeah.
They were not good.
What's your opinion on the actual Tyson Paul fight? Do you have
As
thoughts?
soon as I saw him walk out, I was like, no, he doesn't have it. I saw it in his eyes, like he just doesn't. He looked out like he didn't want to be there, and he's so old. He is old. 60?
Yeah,
65.
But how do you go from those training videos that when I saw those training videos of him, I was like, oh my gosh, he can still bang.
I don't know.
And then that's like that wasn't.
But that's the thing. Like hitting pads is always way different than actually like fighting.
Yeah,
it's way different.
Did you hear the rumor that they speed up those training videos?
I'm sure they. I mean, there's so much editing. I'm sure someone did it.
I never thought of that because I know what you're saying. When you hit pads, the guy holding the pads is actually coming forward too.
Well, yeah, for that resistance, but like just the energy is way different too. Like when you get that fight anxiety, it's way different.
Yeah, you kind of tense up a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I heard that rumor. I was like, oh, yeah, they sped those up.
Yeah.
Like, Mike isn't that fast. But then I saw edited clips of the fight where they slow it way down, and Mike could have came over top, and he pulled a – and I was like –
But it's just he hadn't fought in however long. Yeah. It's like he might be second-guessing himself. He might think, oh, I'm going to throw this right hand, but then he might get countered or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. When people say rigged, I say no way.
I don't think it was rigged.
No, because they'd go to prison, right? Because there's got to be gambling on that. That's my take.
Federal prison. That's
if people if it comes out that they had some sort of agreement.
Yeah,
and people were gambling on that on the apps. Like maybe they weren't allowed to gamble on it because it was. I mean, it was a sanctioned fight, right?
Yeah, it was it's on his professional record.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, it should have been an exhibition.
Yeah, I just don't like that it was a professional fight. Like the state athletic commission. It was in Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have never sanctioned that fight. I think that was the biggest age gap in a professional fight.
No, it was Dallas. It was down in Dallas, right? It was in the Cowboys. It was where the Cowboys play.
I don't know. Either
way, they had to have a commission sanction it.
That should have never happened.
Yeah.
He's way too old to be fighting professionally, and it's like I get it where he's probably like he doesn't want to like let it go because that's who he is.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
He's just too old to be fight. Like if he wanted to fight Roy Jones in like a real fight, that'd be different. Or like Holyfield,
sure.
But not a young man like that.
No, I hear you.
But physically he looked in good shape. Like his knees looked shot. He couldn't move very well.
Yeah.
I think all the drugs caught up to him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't be taking downers before a fight. Hopefully he wasn't doing that, but
I was trying to bite these ears and I couldn't do it.
Oh my gosh, he's breaking out the impressions, guys. Dude. You didn't know that. That was his hidden talent. He's got impressions. Maybe you'll see some more.
I'm going to fight Jake Paul later today.
He comes on the Dan Patrick show every once in a while, and I don't know if Mike's bipolar or not, but like they were just talking about it this week. Like some interviews are great.
Yeah.
He's funny.
I think I guess he could be.
And then other interviews, it's like he's forced to do it. He don't want to be there, so he doesn't give you anything. And Todd Fritz on the Dan Patrick show, he does a great impersonation of him. And Dan was asking, goes, if we get him on again, will you do it in front of him?
Oh, dude.
He's like, I don't know if I would.
Well, there's like two different versions of him, though. There's like the old man where he's like, talking like this, I don't want to fight no more. I'm too old.
And then there's the high energy.
And then there's like the when he's younger version where he's like talking like real high and like, God. But I can,
I don't have a good one.
I can only do the old one where he's like the weathered, like when he's just old.
Todd does the laugh because apparently he said something on their show where he's like,
oh, his laugh is wild.
It's it's creepy almost. Funny. He said something like, he was like, who needs friends when you got enemies like I got? And then he laughed, and it was just, I might have to try and find it and see if I can insert it right here. I'm not gonna try and do it, but
yesterday after the show. Like Todd is great after the show, not during. He's always great after the show, and we're just sitting around talking, and Todd gets on his Mike Tyson impersonation, and then he added another layer to it because he gave us the Tyson laugh.
Dana White wants me to like fight sharks. Well, if you don't with friends like that, who needs enemies?
That's the next level. The laugh is the next level.
Wants me to fight sharks. It was like so supercilious of him to want me to fight a shark.
Oh, that's. Well, yes,
I'm so happy that people got to see Todd succeed at something. Like, he really is so funny.
they've waited a long time.
All right. The last thing I wanted to catch up with on was you, like, along with Bridget and a few others, you guys were real big. You're like, dude, you've got to do like TikTok reels.
Yep.
You've got to do it. And that's why Bridget said, Dad, you got to get into video. That way you can just cut that stuff and put those out as little TikTok reels. And now we're recording this on Saturday. What is today? The 18th? Saturday the 18th.
So wait, no, tomorrow, yeah.
So tomorrow, Sunday, they're saying it's gone. Maybe not gone for good, but it's gone. It's going dark or whatever they call it. So we'll see. But so I did listen to your guys' advice. We're on video.
I led you astray.
Right.
They got well. I guess the reels on like Instagram and Facebook still work really well, but TikTok, I think it's crazy how some stuff just catches fire like that. It's wild.
Yeah, I thought the big ice bath reel, it was, I said it went over 1,000. It didn't. It's like stopped at like 950. And I thought that was great. And then Sarah shows me that she did this little Christmas potpourri one. And it went to like 2,500. I'm like, she's just
weird.
Man.
Hopefully one of these bad impressions I have will go wild.
Yes, I'm clipping the one that we were doing in our sound checks. Oh, the audience is gonna love that. All right. We gotta get rolling here. That's all the catch up stuff. Let's get into the real conversation and the fun that we're gonna have on this episode. I'm gonna start this off. This might be a little bit of a rant or whatever, but this is just a kickoff to our conversation. And it starts with a simple statement: no one knows everything in politics. Anyone who claims they do, they're either lying to you or they're not very bright. Like Iowa's very own Ann Seltzer, whose polling indicated, and these are quotes right here. This is stuff that I actually saw in print. 3 days before the election, Kamala Harris clearly leaped into a leading position, end quote. Okay, that was published in the Des Moines Register by J.N. Seltzer. Des Moines Register-sponsored poll showed Kamala Harris winning Iowa by 3 points, end quote. Guys, I don't care who you supported. This episode's kind of for fun, but it's also to call out some arrogance and just get everybody to have a little bit of humility here. We're not spiking the football. Trump won Iowa by 10. And this lady, 3 days before the election, said she's 3 points ahead. Do you really think there was a 13-point swing in 3 days? No, there never was that kind of a lead. And this is why the media and the polling, they've just lost all credibility with people. We're going to show you a clip of why we don't trust the experts anymore. And I'm going to show you, like I said, we're hinting to arrogance. You're going to see arrogance in this clip. You're going to see everything that is wrong with the way we do politics and elections and the way we talk to people and treat people and think we know more than other people. This is everything that's wrong, all encompassed in one clip. Enjoy.
There was some unfounded confidence on the other side, especially among women who said, oh, women are going to come out and vote in protection of our reproductive freedom. Here's SOT 13.
Okay, that's my girl, Allie Stuckey. Check her out. Allie Best, she's got a podcast called Relatable. She's super smart. She knows how to talk to people. She doesn't put people down. Yes, she's got her standards, but she is a joy to listen to. You'll learn a lot from her. Check out her stuff.
Okay, so we're closing in on almost 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I've been tracking everything that's been going on across the country today. And my most important encounter was when I went out to get my champagne. I was talking to the guy in the store, of course, asking him, did he vote? And he said he did early voting, and he asked me if I early voted. And he asked me, why I was getting the champagne. And I said, because I'm going to be toasting Madam President tonight. And he just looked at me with kind of like a smirk on his face. And I said, she's going to win this, right? And he says, oh, well, it's very, very close. And I said, no, it's not. He says, well, what do you mean? I said, no, it's not. The women of America are making their voices heard. Reproductive rights is what it all comes down to. And the women are voting in numbers relative to men that are unbelievable. She's won this. And I said to him, she's going to take every one of the swing states plus Iowa. And he said, oh, but the numbers are so close. I said, I'm a political analyst.
I'm going to pause it right there. Already my blood's boiling. Like, do you see what I'm talking about? She's watching the election the same way anyone else was, but yet she saw numbers we didn't see because they were in her head. She knew women were voting a certain issue and were voting in numbers. She knew this stuff because you have to believe me because I'm a political analyst. I know more than you. I mean, just listen to the arrogance in that.
It's Iowa. And he said, oh, but the numbers are so close. I said, I'm a political analyst. I'm telling you right now, the numbers are there. She's taking this election. And then I said to him, you realize, and he didn't tell me who he voted for, but of course I knew. And I said, you do realize you wasted your vote, right?
Oh, and that laugh, dude.
Dude,
the laugh.
I didn't care.
Oh, it makes you cringe.
I walked out with my bottle of champagne and happily walked home. Bye-bye.
I bet she drank more after.
Yeah, dude, that was rough.
Ugh.
That was everything that is wrong. I know better than you. I don't care if you're a professor. You don't know. Everyone, I mean, I thought that everyone who had an honest opinion thought this was going to be super close.
Well, that's the thing with the media. The media, they can change. They can like say whatever they want, and you know you don't really know any better. Like they almost had me. I was like, when we first talked about Trump, I was like, yeah, he's kind of, you know, he's not great. Blah, blah, and I like the RFK.
Right.
I still do.
Yep.
But like it's just like if they can sway that little bit to vote for RFK, you know what I mean? Like
it takes away from somebody.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's like the media can do or whatever. They can do or say whatever they want, but it doesn't necessarily mean like that's real.
Yeah.
And they almost got me. I was like, and then when we got out, and then when we got out of that one podcast, and we stepped out, and then we heard about the shooting or the attempted assassination.
Yeah.
Assassination, excuse me.
Yeah,
we're
just standing out by your car after
Crazy.
the episode, and Sarah comes out and says Trump just got shot or was shot at.
Yeah.
And we were like, what? For real? Well, they're saying guns just went off. And then shortly thereafter, like, it's like, no, it actually hit him in the ear. He's bleeding. He's down. And we're like, holy cow, it wasn't assassination.
And then, like, they were trying to say, oh, it was just glass or something. I'm like,
from the teleprompter.
Yeah.
So what? A bullet went by.
I'm like, well, then, like, there's bystanders that got shot and killed. Like,
Yep.
if they tried saying it was staged, and I'm like, you guys are insane.
One dude died.
Yeah, the guy died. It's like,
Yep. And then all that went into that. After that, like, the
well,
dude was
very,
clearly seen.
very suspicious.
The dude was in, like, the most strategic, close location.
Well, then that, and then they tried saying, oh, we couldn't have CIA, or not CIA, Secret Service on that roof because it's too slanted. I'm like, it's about as flat as you can.
I knew when she said that, I was like, you're losing your job because that ain't. Because then they showed pictures
of
where
the sniper that
the return.
shot him,
yeah. They
and
were on
like,
a pitch way more, and it's like, this is why no one trusts the media anymore. Right there,
well, and
no
then
one trusts
they
the government.
can say, "Oh, Kamala's ahead," or what? It's like, have you like they? I don't even understand how they thought that. I was like, if you looked at any of her rallies or like she had like, was it Cardi B or who did she have perform? And I was like, what are you doing? And it like looks insane. It's so stupid. Nobody cares about. I mean, not that like Trump. He had Hulk Hogan, which kind of went hard, but
yeah. They all go for the celebrities on both sides. They do.
But
I'll give them that.
They had like it was either Cardi B or like is it Sexy Red, like perform like one of her songs, and it was like. Why would you like? It was just not like she was
to try and get that younger.
Yeah, twerking on stage. I was like, you're insane. At least like with Hulk Hogan, it's like you kind of get it's a gag.
Yeah,
like where it's like Trump-a-mania, brother.
Yeah,
it's like that's funny.
He's having fun with it. Yeah, oh, I get it.
And then Dana White, that was cool too.
Yeah, that killed it. That really did. We gotta stay on course here. We'll get to all this stuff, but why? Let's just go down the list here. Why do you think when the results came in, there was such a resounding result? Like he got all these swing states. It all went his way. She improved nothing, like in no states, and he improved in like everything. It was insane. Why do you think it came out that way?
I think part of it is like the state of things right now, with everything getting more expensive. Like she is just an extension of the Biden administration. So that I think people were like, well, we don't like this.
So we don't want more of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gone very well at all. And then just on top of that, she didn't seem like she was very smart. Like anytime she would be
Public speaking and stuff.
oh my, it was just embarrassing. And it's like you're
Yeah.
kind of going from one extreme to the other, where it's like, I think Biden, when he was not like, when in his prime, he was a good speaker.
Yeah.
Like, but he was just too old now. Like, whether you like him or not, like, just let him be. He's like,
Yeah.
he's so
He
old.
struggled a little
yeah,
bit,
and it's sad. It's sad to see that. I'm like, just let the guy eat ice cream.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like that guy should not be running a country.
Yeah, that debate,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, if Trump is just quiet
Yeah.
and doesn't go overboard and just kind of and that's pretty much what he did.
And
And,
then-
there were some bad moments
yeah,
there.
and
But
then-
then other times you see Biden and I don't know if they gave him a shot of
Yeah, I
vitamin
know.
B or
He's a-
whatever, but it was a completely different guy and he kind of had some energy.
Come on, America, you know me. It's like,
Here's what I think. I think you say, okay, it could be people just didn't want more of what we've had the last 4 years. I think people were just tired of being lied to. Like
That too.
one of the biggest things I remember was the first few years of his administration. They kept saying there's nothing going on at the board. People forget it now
Oh,
because that
yeah.
last year they finally said, yeah, we got to get this under
it was
control.
bad.
But what happened to the first 3 years? They kept saying everyone's making this up. There's nothing going on. And that's when this statement that my kids hate, but I heard somebody say it and I was like, this is exactly what's happening. They're peeing on our backs and telling us it's raining. I don't know what generation came up with that, but that's what it was
Yeah.
because certain news outlets did have a couple reporters down there. And so we're seeing footage of these illegal crossings. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, these are masses of people coming across. But yet all the major ones are saying nothing's going on. They're all making it up. So I think the results came out the way they did because of people were tired of
Well,
being
and
lied
then
to.
just like her herself would lie about, like she would switch stances on everything. Like she, you know what I mean? Like she couldn't make up her mind about, whether she was for something or against something.
Yeah.
And then that Lester Holt.
Lester Holt, there you go. the
Lester
big one.
Holt interviewed her, and he's like asking her all these questions about the border, and he's like, she's like, well, we've been to the border, and he goes, well, you haven't been to the border, and then she's like, and I also haven't been to Europe. And I
Yeah.
was like, what are you talking about? It's
Get to the issue, man.
Yeah.
You were the border czar. yeah. Let's go to something you were kind of hinting to there. The media, news media. So you got ABC, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, then you got Fox, and then you've got all the streaming outlets. Then you've got the more, they're probably independent, but conservative, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Newsmax and stuff like that. People are getting their news from different places, but still the main legacy media, ABC, NBC, CBS, stuff like that. People, that's a flow of information, but now there's this alternate flow of information on social media. And when Elon bought Twitter and quickly realized, they were censoring stuff. And now Zuckerberg saying we were
Yeah.
censoring stuff and all that stuff. Like, I get wanting to censor censoring completely false stuff. I get it. But Zuckerberg was saying like they were being ass, and I think Zuckerberg's just trying to like cozy up right now. I really do.
Yeah.
He says that they were asked to like censor things about like the COVID vaccine and stuff. And it's like, bro, we can't censor it. Like every vaccine has potential for side effects. So come on, that's not even debatable.
Well, and like, who's to say what? Like, there's so much going on. Who's to say? They don't even know what's true.
At
So
that
who's
point,
to
they
say-
didn't.
Yeah, so
Right.
who's to say
No
what's
one
true
knew.
and what's not? It's
Yeah,
like,
you were just told listen to the experts.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you got media, but then you got social media, and I heard Barron Trump was big on getting his dad to, hey, if you can get Joe Rogan, if you can get
Yeah,
Theo Vaughn,
yeah.
if you can do like this is how you're going to reach younger people. It's all about reaching voters.
Yeah.
Right. You got people who are hardcore Republican or conservative, and you got hardcore Democrats or liberals.
Well,
they're
that's
they're
the
not going to
thing.
change. It's everyone else who's possibly could go either way.
Yeah. Well, it's a numbers game at that point. It's like, granted, I would say like with Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn, I think if you got on there, you're probably gonna appease those people more than like a Kamala Harris would that watch Theo Vaughn or watch Joe Rogan. But the number of people that like just Joe Rogan alone reaches is way more than like the media anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody really watches the news anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's somebody who was that? I was watching an interview and they said, "Do you realize Joe Rogan has more like viewers
Yeah, he does.
than all those news networks? Do you realize he makes more than all?" And it wasn't just all news. He gets more views or more viewers than like all of those news networks combined.
Yeah.
He makes more money than all those anchors combined. Like
It's crazy.
It's not. But when you watch his think what you want of Joe Rogan, who used to be pretty liberal.
Yeah.
Hollywood guy, but he's kind of common sense guy. But he is buddies with Dana White. And
but
there
I
was
don't think
influence
he's
there.
like. I think he's still somewhat liberal. Like he's not like he's just like common sense.
There you go. There you go.
He's not for one extreme or the other.
No,
he's just like
he strikes me as a guy who's searching for truth right
Yeah.
now. He really does. More on the spiritual side of things. He's searching for truth. But clearly in the election cycle, he wanted truth, and it all started probably in the COVID thing because they ran him over the coals for that whole
Oh, my
ivermectin thing.
God.
And if you look right now on like the main government health website or whatever, it lists ivermectin as a supplemental treatment for COVID-19, and it's like you guys tried to run him out of town because of that.
And they did all this, like they took the video of him saying, I had COVID, I took ivermectin or whatever, and I feel good. But they like changed like the tint of his skin to make him look weird, all this it's like
And it was never a standalone treatment. It was always with other things. He never claimed this was the cure-all or whatever, but. So when we're talking about that stuff, we're talking about podcasts versus the media and all this stuff. What about the celebrities? Kamala had all this. Trump did have, Dana White and going to the UFC fights. And he had, like Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan. He had some. And I see he just tapped like Sylvester Stallone, John Voight, and Mel Gibson to be like the ambassador to Hollywood. And it's like, okay, so he's got some celebrities.
Well, like if you look at Kamala, they seemed like paid off. It felt really weird. It didn't feel like genuine. Like they had the whole Avengers make. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I did see those videos.
You should put that in there.
Those were cringe.
They're terrible, and like even their slogan for it was like "Down with democracy," which they meant like, "Oh, I'm down for it," but it's like, it's like so ironic because it felt like you're saying like "down with democracy," like
which is bad
because like they want it.
Yeah. She had Taylor Swift. She had George Clooney. I had that in my notes. The
was
Avengers,
it's so
Oprah,
cringy.
Beyonce, all this stuff, and it didn't help.
No,
she performed so much worse. Like I was just thinking, this is all good for her, and it didn't help at all. Another thing I think the results were so resounding was another reason would be like the woke ideologies. The stuff we saw that come into race, gender. And then it's like it's in our government, it's in our military, it's in our education, it's getting into schools, it's getting into businesses. They had this scoring system on businesses. If you didn't contribute to these woke causes, like your score would go down, and then the banks wouldn't help you grow and stuff like that. Well, even
like with the LA wildfires, they did like a DEI like hiring for the chief of and now like there's no water in the hydrants, like all this stuff, and it's like you have to find that clip too. There's like
I know
a
which
video
one you're about to
of
say.
that. It's like that lady, I think.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what do you say if you can, like, because it's a woman.
Yep.
And she's like, well, what if my husband's in a fire and he needs someone to carry him out? Do you think you could do that? And she's like, well, if your husband's caught in a fire, I think he messed up somewhere. And I'm like,
he shouldn't have got himself in that position.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Got himself in the wrong place? Now, maybe it's me, but every place is kind of the wrong place when it's on fire!
That's the problem. It's like
you always want that. That was the problem with, and I honestly think the tide's turning in DEI and woke big time.
I think so too.
Everyone, all these schools are pulling back. Companies, they're ditching DEI because it shouldn't. Morgan Freeman said it best. He's like, "How do you end racism? Stop talking about it. Like it's always going to be, but stop calling people black, white.
Yeah,
stop
people
putting
are
people
different,
into groups.
But we're still all people,
right?
That's something that's fighting taught me. I was like, we're all just human beings.
That's right. I remember growing up. Okay, so if I grew up in the 80s, that's only 20 years from like the civil rights movement. But guess what? I didn't think a thing about it growing up in the South because no one told me you got to look at these people different. Now they're saying it's good though because it's DEI. It's promoting.
Yeah.
No, when you go in for a surgery, when you get on a plane, You want the best surgeon. You don't care what he is. You want the best pilot. You don't care what he is. DEI, everyone's backing away from this stuff because it was did more harm than good. Definitely. Okay. Another reason for resounding results. We got a few more. What about all the lawfare against Trump? Like him or hate him, I don't care. You kind of saw some like my take is every businessman has probably worked the system, worked the tax code, done all these things. That doesn't make Trump is not on the up and up on all things. I get that. I'm not going to praise the guy. I'm going to pray for the guy because he's our president. But the lawfare, the way we saw, district attorneys, go after him for these certain things, do you think that played an effect on him getting elected? Do you think it worked in his favor?
I think it worked. Well, that's the thing. Like, all the things they were accusing Trump of, they were doing themselves. Like, they sent the DOJ after him. They basically, they went after him and made him, they tried to, kind of smear his name so everyone's like, oh, he's clearly not fit, all these things, and it's like...
They wanted to get a point where they call him a felon. Yeah. And they achieved that.
Which, I mean, whatever.
Where 34 felony crimes he was convicted of, right?
Which, and I even saw some stuff on that where it's like, most of those are usually misdemeanors. So it's like, how does that...
Yeah.
That's just weird. It's very fishy.
It is. It really is. The more you look into it, the more you kind of educate yourself on the law system. Like, there was a lot of stuff done wrong. The Supreme Court, when he was trying to get them to block the sentencing, they said, we're not going to do that, but we invite an appeal, because they were ready to overturn the whole thing. Yeah. Because they know so many things were done in the process that were bad. So, but they get that. They get the 34 felonies. He's now a felon, and that was in the news cycle for a short time.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, that's what they're trying to... But it what annoys me, it's all, some of it might have been criminal, but if it's not a felon, they just feel like you said, they wanted to get that felony because it looks bad. Yep. But if it's all kind of a ploy by the DOJ, it's they did weaponize it against him.
Yep. I agree. For overvaluing his properties to get more loans to invest and to grow his business,
which he all paid back.
All paid back with interest on time. So my question is, okay, he overvalued his property. Where's the... And if that's illegal, that's illegal. And if guys find their way, who's the victims?
Well, who he didn't value him. He had an adjuster, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. He doesn't put the dollar amount on
that's what I mean. It's so...
But where's the victims? Yeah. Where's the victims? Did the banks bring the suit saying, hey, this guy owes us? I mean, I get it. He's gone bankrupt how many times? I get it. But yet he's considered one of the best businessmen. Yeah. I understand the whole debate on that back and forth. I get it. But then at the end of it all, okay, so he's convicted and he gets back out on the campaign trail. He wins the stinking thing, and then whatever it is, a week or so ago, he goes for sentencing, and the judge sentenced. There's an official version, but the average Joe right here is going to say the judge sentenced him to absolutely nothing, and actually said Godspeed in your second term as president.
Really? I see. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that Judge Mershon. There's a more formal way of putting it. He sentenced him to something, but it was basically nothing, saying that's it. Yep, you were found guilty, but there's nothing, and good luck. He said Godspeed. Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
We're back.
Okay. Let's move into the cabinet picks, man. He has definitely shaken up things. These are not all Washington people. These are not, the status quo as far as getting people around you when you're president. So let's start at the top. I believe it's director for the Health and Human Services Department, RFK. This was your guy back then.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
It is weird where if you look at all the additives in our food and how unhealthy they really are compared to even in Canada, I don't think they have the same dyes and everything's more natural foods where.
And that's government-run healthcare. So, I mean, they have a vested interest in making sure people are healthy. Yeah. Bridget was telling me that. Other people, you talk to people who've been to Europe and the UK and stuff like that.
Food's way healthier.
Way healthier. And I want to say in the UK, if you go to McDonald's, you're limited.
Really?
It's healthier, but you can't get 2 number ones. They cannot serve it to you.
That's wild.
But also everything they're using is healthier. And I see what just come out last week. They're not even in yet. And someone just banned red dye number
I think
whatever.
red food dye 40 or red 40, I think it's called, 40. Something like that.
It's starting.
Well,
so we'll see what RFK does.
Hopefully they just make the food more healthy, because it's so annoying when it's there's nothing health. Like, there's no food that like is healthy anymore.
Yeah, that hasn't been sprayed something
it's
on or
like,
cooked in a
geez.
seed oil.
Unless
or
you're willing
something.
to, like, unless it's super expensive, and not
Yeah.
everyone can do that.
Yeah. You're right. We'll see what happens. Okay, how about this one? Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. You know anything about this guy?
Is he the guy who used to run the border? Or no, he was I thought he was
Tom Homan's going to be that guy. That's the guy.
Okay,
you've
never
seen.
mind then. Then I don't know much about him.
That's the border guy, and obviously he got
he
revved
is-
up
yeah,
as soon as
bro.
the nomination
He
was
is
in.
the real deal.
Yeah.
But I don't know much about.
So Hegseth was a Fox News guy, just a host.
Okay.
But he had military service
Oh, I
before
think,
that.
okay. Now that you say it, I've heard about him, but I don't know.
So this past week was his confirmation.
Okay.
And so they, he did have some personal issues that they drug up, and his wife stuck by him and stuff like that. But
Yeah, but who does?
it was weird at the beginning. They just instantly, from the onset, when Trump starts picking these, I mean, I guess RFK kind of fits in a little bit because he's been in politics, but everyone else he seems to pick, Elon, Vivek, all these people, they're like, oh, these are outsiders.
Yeah.
So Pete comes in, and at the beginning, people just thought he was just Mr. Fox News Saturday host or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, this dude served in Iraq, Afghanistan. He's been on veteran boards. He's got veteran nonprofits that he serves on, all this stuff. And they just tried to crush him like, you don't have enough experience. And his confirmation hearing was this week. And that's basically what they said. They said, what's the most people you've overseen? And it's like, well, I guess 100 would be the biggest foundation, with people. And he goes, but in the military, you've got, it's more. He goes, so I'm supposed to make you CEO of, thousands and thousands, the biggest company within the United States.
Yeah.
And he's going to do great. His job is to make the military, healthy, great again, get all the woke stuff out, get recruiting numbers back up.
Well, like, even like to throw it back to RFK, it's like, because he'll be the Department of Health, right? Or the Minister of Health or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen that? Is it current? I don't know if she's still current or it's like a transgender.
Yeah.
And I'm like, clear, just doesn't even look healthy. And then like, there's like memes about it where it's like, it shows RFK and he's like, he's ripped.
Yeah, he is.
The dude is jacked.
He
I
is.
was like, my, for as old as he is, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's Richard Levine, goes by Rachel. Not a very healthy looking person.
No. And like I think RFK's biggest downfall is just whatever's going on with his throat.
His voice. Yeah,
But
you
like,
can look it up. You can see what that
once
is.
you listen to it, it's not as bad. Like, once you get used to it, it's not that bad. But otherwise, it's just
all the red food dye in there.
it's like
it's pretty good. My mother-in-law thinks I do a mean RFK. She
I like
thinks I'm
him.
good at it. Yeah,
he's a good dude.
And he is on TRT. You can't be that old and
Oh
not
no,
be on
yeah,
TRT.
I think
man.
he's admitted to it.
Yeah, he has. He has. He says there's benefits to it. I look at it this way, man. If your body's naturally aging, like, I don't really want to mess with my hormone. I'll take creatine. I'll take protein. I'll supplement. But the TRT thing, like, I don't know. That's just kind of a natural thing, man. But
he looks good, dude.
He is. He does. But I guess I don't care as much about looks anymore.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to the big ones. This whole new department that's separate from the government, this Department of Government Efficiency, and he tapped Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to do. Everyone got worked up because it's like, this is a whole new thing, and it's like every politician I've ever heard have said they want to cut fat, they want to trim the government, they want to make it lean and mean. Trump actually creates this department to do that.
Yeah.
And everyone got up in arms about it. It's like, Elon's got a huge company.
Well, if you look at all the stuff Elon talks about, where it's like, he's talking about all these extra, not companies, but all these extra departments that it's like, well, they're basically both doing the same
redundancies.
job. Yeah, it's
redundancies.
Like, just trim it, because it's like there's so much extra waste that you don't need to pay all this extra money for people that are doing kind of the same thing that you could have, less people do at the same efficiency or more. I mean, and especially like they talk about the debt that the United States is in. It's like, we got to figure something out before.
No one talks about it anymore.
It's insane. It's
when
crazy.
I was a kid, I bet you by the time you were a kid, no one was talking about it. When I was a kid, I remember hearing people say balanced budget quite a bit. No one says it anymore. It's almost like, why even try? Well, because you have to. My goodness, you can't spend more than you take in. And this Department of Government Efficiency is going to try and make the best use out of our tax dollars, so maybe we can pay down that debt. I can't wait to see what they come up with, because every year there comes out a list, depending on what news you watch, they come out with this list, and reporters will report all these things we're spending money on, all these studies for like the sexual drive and
it's all
baboons on
yeah,
cocaine. It's like,
all-
why would we
yeah.
fund an experiment for that?
Yeah, it's all weird stuff.
But I imagine these guys are going to say, yes, if it's not necessary. And I'm not for people losing their jobs. I'm not.
Well, and I even heard like they're gonna put them on like a, what do you call it? Like a severance of sorts, where it's like you can get paid for like I think a year later, at like half your income or whatever you're making. So then you at least have some money or something like that. So like you can figure something out.
Yeah.
So you're not just like instantly cut and you're like, well.
See, and I wonder, are they saying that on all the news media? Probably not.
No, I think Elon said that.
Elon says it. See, that does sound, because that's what you should get. If you lose your job, you should get some severance.
Yeah, they're going to give you like a severance thing. So it's like you have, if you want to do whatever, but you still have some money to figure it out in the meantime.
Yeah.
You're going to have, if you cut half the workforce, then they need to go somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to find jobs.
Yeah.
This gives them some buffer.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, let's lighten it up a little bit. Funniest or most memorable moments from the entire race, from the entire season. Does anything stick out? I got a few wrote down. It was hard to kind of go back because, recency memory.
I'm the same way. There's so much going on. It's like it's always this thing happened today, and then tomorrow there's 10 different other things. So
because if you look back at the beginning, there was him and DeSantis, Trump and DeSantis getting into it and stuff. There were some funny moments there or some memorable moments. But really, all our memory is kind of like the last year. Yeah, really. And one of the big ones, and I'll take a shot at Trump for this. When Biden, I think it was Biden, called people, Trump supporters, garbage.
Yeah.
Or he alluded to that, made that statement.
Yeah,
it was clearly what he meant.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
I don't think he really wanted to make fun of all of us, but that is kind of the way it came out. So Trump shows up to that rally in Wisconsin with a bright new shiny garbage truck. But he, the point I'm making here is he reached for the door handle of the garbage truck and he missed it twice, trying to get up in that thing. Do you think that's going to be an inauguration on Monday? You think that's going to be in the parade?
I don't know. It could be.
I bet it will be.
One of the best garbage trucks. Great garbage truck.
There it is. There it is, guys. There's his Trump impersonation. This big, beautiful.
I said, wow, what a great garbage truck this is.
What about the dance, dude? The dance
Dude, I like his
off.
dance. I love his dance.
Do you like the golf swing that he adds at the end sometimes? He does that little golf swing.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, yeah. There's certain clips. He'll do the dance.
Broken
and then
golf, though.
He'll throw this little.
Have you seen the picture of him playing tennis? Dude, look it up.
Why, is he bad or good?
No, I think he's decent.
Yeah.
But he's like in these tight.
Oh, no. Not the 80s shorts.
Yeah. And it's like.
Oh.
Speaking of dump trucks. Bro, it's pretty funny.
He's kind of a big dude.
He
yeah, he is.
Well, I thought one of the funny moments too is like when they're talking about golf. He's like, I only got a 7 handicap, buddy. It's like they're like arguing
didn't he
about
challenge Biden to golf on the thing.
Like, I'll challenge you any day. Like they're like arguing over.
But you got to carry your own clubs. Oh, that was horrible.
He's like, you got to carry your own clubs. It's like
he couldn't do. I don't know if Trump could carry him for 18. He's a big guy. I don't know if he could carry him for 18.
And then
but
like
Biden definitely.
They were
could.
just like taking shots at each other about golf, and I was like, "What is
That's
this real
American
life, bro?"
politics, dude. It was happening on national TV.
He's like, I guarantee you, he can't hit it. I'll beat him in golf. It's like what?
The funniest moment from that debate was when and I shouldn't laugh at it, but if we're being honest, this is real life. One of the funniest moments was when Biden rambled for a minute and it got kind of incoherent. And Trump just kept like looking back at Biden and then looking at the camera. And then they asked
I don't
Trump,
think he even knows what he said.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was like,
good.
oh wow. Like, and that, I think that was the start of it. Like, ooh,
yeah, that's when it like everything like really blew up and they're like, yeah, this guy's out of it.
Yeah. I missed a part. Okay. Really, one of the main parts was he had a couple freeze ups.
Oh yeah,
a couple freeze ups. The one like Clooney and Obama are out on stage with him at a fundraiser or whatever, and he kind of froze and they had to pull him off. And then I saw this one. He was doing this concert on the White House lawn, and there's like some trans people dancing around him, and Kamala and Doug are grooving or whatever, and Biden just he's like got this half grin on his face and doesn't move.
Yeah, well, he just doesn't know where he's at, or like it's just it's almost sad because he's like they had to like walk him off and down
those
the
are
stairs.
memorable
It's
moments,
like,
man. Yeah. Those were, but then there were other times I seen him trying like jog out to the helicopter or something a little bit.
Yeah,
and I was
then
like,
he'll
see,
fall.
he's
Yeah.
trying.
Well,
he's trying.
They're like, hey, you gotta look a little alive here.
Show a little pep in your step. Yeah, yeah.
Well, like it's weird too, because like everything he does seems so forced. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have like that. Where like Trump, at least like he'll do his dance. He'll like do the dance, or like he'll be funny. Like he is funny.
Yeah.
Like but he's natural about it. Like he's
Yep.
not like trying to force it. Like
right.
Like
No,
he's
I
just
know what you mean.
naturally funny.
Yeah.
Where Biden's just super out of it.
Yeah. You can clearly tell when both of them are on a teleprompter. And when they both go off script for a second, when Biden goes off script, you can tell. He looks up.
Well, he
and
just
he's and it's like a 2-word thing.
Yeah.
I mean it.
Yeah.
And it's not hyperbole here.
Come on, folks.
But
you know me.
Trump will go off script,
Well,
and
he'll just say anything.
and the speechwriters are like, "Oh gosh, please
like,
get back
what's
to it.
he
Hurry
gonna
up," because it'll be 10 minutes. Yeah.
I'll say what I want. I'll say lots of things, the greatest things you've ever heard. It's like he'll just say anything.
Okay, we got it. If we're talking memorable moments, we can't forget. One of the reasons a lot of people probably had doubts about Kamala was the word salads. Sometimes she'd give an answer, and she couldn't really. There's no answer in there. And I've done a lot of public speaking. Sometimes you can lose your train of thought and get off track. And the worst thing to do. It's not the worst thing to do, but the honest thing to do is say, I kind of forgot where I was going with it. I've done that before.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not sure where I was going with that, and then it might come back to you or whatever. But yeah, just some of that stuff, like you said, some of the people at these rallies of hers were paid, and come to find out some of them were, especially the celebrities. Yeah, she had to make contributions and stuff.
I mean, like just the, let's be unbothered by what has been, like just that stuff.
It rambled.
But like, and I
or
think,
the kid actor one. Remember the one she was talking about? She had the kids at the White House,
yeah.
and I guess those were all kid actors. It wasn't even real.
Well, I think something too is like all of her rallies were exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like it was clearly like rehearsed. Like where Trump, like the thing with like social media now, like people can see her at every speech, and it'll show her say the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Like it seems very rehearsed and not as genuine. Where Trump just kind of goes off the cuff a lot.
Yeah.
And he'll just so it seems more genuine. Where it's like, yeah, he might be a little more brash, I want to say, but it's at least he's being real. Like he's not. We know who he is. He's not faking what he's about. Where Kamala, it seemed very rehearsed, and then just the word salad is.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. Nope. I hear you. Okay. The last few things, probably memorable moments that stuck out for me was like Dana White's speech the night of the election. That hit home for me because the people closest to him know what he. I mean, they threw everything at this guy.
Yeah.
They threw everything.
The fraudulent FBI.
Man, and I mean, I was like, dude, I wouldn't do it. I would have packed it up a long time ago. I'd be golfing and I'd be out of their way if they'd leave me alone. Yeah. But what Dana White said, I think, was a hint into the truth of like, just what kind of guy he is. And he ain't perfect. Just stop with the nonsense you're thinking already. I'll call it like I see it. But yeah, what the words Dana White said really hit home for me because Dana White was quick. He was passionate. I mean, and you could tell he was trying to hold back, emotion and get it all out there.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
Hulk Hogan, dude. Trump-o-mania, brother.
Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I saw Kid Rock the other day.
Kid
He
Rock.
come out. He said, they were talking about Michelle Obama not coming to the inauguration. Yeah. And Kid Rock said, I would like to remind the former First Lady that I was invited to play at her husband's inauguration, even though I didn't vote for him. And guess what? I went, I played, I had a good time. It was fun. That's how you kind of get back to normalcy.
Well, even then, did you see that clip of it was Obama and Trump? They're sitting side by side. They were
at
just
Carter's funeral.
Just joshing around.
How can you do that with Hitler?
Yeah,
you call him Hitler.
Exactly.
You call him Hitler, and then you're joking with him at the funeral.
Yeah, it's like I don't think Obama really did a great job at all. Like because I was a kid, so I was like, oh, he's a great speaker. He's fun to listen to.
Yeah, he
like,
is.
He's a great speaker. I just don't think he did very well. So it's
policy wise, you mean?
Policy, which it just like looking back, it's like, well, stuff didn't seem very good then.
Yeah.
But I like they're still, like I said, they just try to manufacture stuff about Trump where he's always evil, blah blah blah. Well, him and Obama, they're chalking
hamming it
just-
up,
yeah.
man. Yeah, that was kind of. It kind of makes you think. What is it all even real? I hate
It's-
when
it's
people
just
bring that
all
stuff up, but
manufactured. It's all
golly.
crap.
It's almost like it's a game, like it's a contest. Well, once he's won,
Yeah.
that's it. And he didn't just win; he won big. Won the House, won
yeah.
the Senate, won the
Won
presidency.
all the that, and he won all the swing states. Like
Yeah, it was wild. Me and
Obama. Sorry.
Me and Timothy and Grace were up all night election night. Watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
Watched it come
same.
in. I had to call into work the next day for a couple hours. I slept a little bit.
I know. We were up late watching. I was like, oh my god. Like,
I can't believe it's coming.
crazy
in like
how
this.
you're like, oh, who's gonna win?
Did you see that one clip where they said, "Show us the counties or the precincts or whatever that Kamala at this point
None of them.
has improved
None
on
of them.
Biden and nothing came." And the guy goes, "None."
Yeah.
Like on
Yeah,
air.
They were
he
like,
goes,
what's
"None?"
going on? Yeah.
Oh, that's got to be a glitch. No, it
it's,
wasn't.
it's close. We could see what's gonna happen.
Are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3% or more.
Oh, that's got to be a glitch. No, it wasn't.
It's close. We could see what's gonna happen.
All right, we're closing in on the hour, man. We got to keep moving. Okay, one other big thing that was probably the bulk of the whole political. So, audience, give a big round of applause to our field correspondent, our political analyst, Brock Beesecker. We're gonna move on to one more topic here. The Daniel Penney trial. This one is one that I followed, and I wanted to get your take on it because this was a Marine vet riding the subway. A mentally disturbed person gets on the subway, starts making threats about killing people or going to jail for life. And this Marine vet puts him in a chokehold to subdue him with some help from some bystanders and cooperates with the police. You know, the guy passes out or whatever. He dies shortly late. When the cops arrived, he was still alive. He was just unconscious. And he ends up dying, which is sad and unfortunate, especially if the guy needed help. But they questioned Daniel Penney, all that stuff, and they come back a couple days later and arrest him, and the DA charges him with a couple different things. And he ends up being acquitted of it all because it was clearly self-defense. And even when he was done, like he tried to let him go at one point, and he started getting out. And then so he reapplied pressure. And then when he fully went out, they put him in the recovery position.
Yeah.
They were trying to make sure, they could do everything they could. But he ends up being acquitted, which I think is the right thing. And BLM went off. They said, we should burn New York City to the ground. It was terrible. You as a guy who's got some training, in kickboxing and things like that, I wanted to know, would that, because to me, that's the situation. You want somebody capable to step in.
Yeah.
But knowing his physical, his training, his military training, his physical abilities, knowing your physical abilities, if you're in a public place and something like that goes down, does that make you question, do I step in or do I risk, do I risk putting myself out? You're already putting yourself at risk by stepping in.
Well, so they usually they will throw the book at you, like if something like that happens, because they know that you're, like if you're a professional fighter or like even in the military. I mean, military might be a little different, but
Sure.
usually they'll throw the book at you just because they know you're like more capable. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But that doesn't necessarily I don't think honestly, that dude probably did the best thing you could have done
Right.
within like stepping in, because like a chokehold is usually you'll be fine. You might, even if you pass out, it's usually just a blood choke.
Mm-hmm.
It only takes like 5-10 seconds max.
Yeah, to cut off that
and
carotid artery.
and you're out, and it doesn't do anything. Like
Nope.
you'll be fine. Versus like if you get not like if physical, like it's the least violent thing
Yeah.
you can do
Yeah.
to subdue someone. Versus like that, because if that was me, I would have instantly just.
You would have thrown a punch.
Yeah, I would have just been and then that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Like it's way more violent to like actually throw hands versus
Right.
even just like holding him down. That's like, what else are you supposed to do? Let him just attack somebody?
Yeah, when he comes on
Yeah.
saying that stuff. I was just thinking, yeah, if I'm on there or if my kids are on there
Yeah.
or in a public place, I don't care if it's a Walmart. Like, you want good Samaritans to do
Yeah.
things. And like, yeah, that would be the correlation there. He puts him in a chokehold, least amount of physical force. You might not have that capability, so you throw a punch, hopefully knock him unconscious. But if you jump on him and keep hitting him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, now you can see maybe something else there, but like that was the right thing, and a jury of his peers found him not guilty, and so I guess you would just have to hope.
And that's the thing. It's like, what if some random person just threw one punch at him, hit him in the head, or like, you know, knocked him out, and then he smacked his head on the ground, and then he died then. Like, you know what I mean? It could happen, like, and that could just be some random untrained person.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Don't have to be a fighter or a military guy or something like that. It makes you think. I mean, because you always want good people to step in and do the right thing. I think the mayor of New York probably put it right. He said that, you know, the city failed him.
Yeah.
The dude was homeless. The dude had mental problems. You know, the Bible teaches, and I'm a big believer, you help those who need help. You know, those who can help themselves, those who can provide for themselves and their families, they don't need the help. But those who need help, we should help them, whether you're talking individual citizens, the church, the government, whatever. If they need help, help them. And this guy obviously needed help and didn't get it or didn't want it. I don't know all the situation, but that was just, you want good Samaritans to not fear stepping in and trying to do the right
and it
thing.
just sucks that guy was in that position anyway. Like, I feel like I think the issue of the homeless has gotten really bad in the last few years.
Yeah.
There's always
in different
been
parts,
but I feel like it's really exploded in a lot of other cities.
Sure.
But
and what got me was like his family made a statement about things, and the more you dig into that, it's like, well, they weren't really there for him.
Yeah.
Now they're there because it seems like it's in the media.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe there's other motives there, but it's like, man, you should have been there for him.
Well, that's what I mean. It just sucks that guy. I mean, obviously, it's a tragedy that the guy died, but like, it just sucks that like you said, no one was there to help him. Like, there's no like assistance in a way. Like,
right.
I
No
guess
resources.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Sure. Yeah. No, I hear you. And I think that's part of what people might bash the whole America First idea or whatever, but it's like that's kind of kind of it. Like, we need to help the people that need help here.
You look at all the illegal like immigrants that come in. Not all. I'm sure some of them are perfectly fine people.
Yeah,
but you're still coming into the country illegally,
right.
and they're getting all these like EBT cards with like $10,000. It's like, give that to an American citizen who needs the assistance.
Yeah.
Or like free housing. Like, if you can afford to, I mean, I don't know how many millions of people they project that have come into the country illegally. Like, if you can afford to give them housing, but not, I mean, I'm sure there's way less homeless people.
Yeah.
Or people who, housing insecure, as they call them.
We could have took care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like you
I know
could have
what you
helped
mean.
so many more people.
I know, and I'm kind of with them on that issue. Like, I know there's a lot of good people that want to come over here and work and all that stuff. Then we do need to fix the system. Find out, vet the ones that are bad, turn them away,
make them efficient.
That's right. Get the good ones in that want to work. And that's how immigration used to always be. If you look at any point in American history, immigration, they want to come, they want to assimilate, they want to contribute, they want to work, they want to. You know what I mean? They're not just coming for free stuff, or to do criminal stuff. Like, we got to do, and I think that's what that Tom Homan's going to get at. We're gonna try and get the people to do it legally, and we're gonna let the good ones in and turn the bad ones away. And I'm all for that for sure. So, dude, I got to thank you for coming back on and doing this, what do we call it, post-election special. We're on like the eve of Inauguration Day as we're recording, so this will release like the Friday after inauguration. This was a lot of fun, some really good discussions. We probably made some people uncomfortable, but guys, that's how you communicate. You just talk. There's no wrong answers when you're stating how you feel. There may be some wrong answers of where you're coming from and where I'm coming from, but how you feel is how you feel. So get out there, discuss it, debate ideas, seek truth, okay? Hopefully, we got some people thinking a little bit about, what is up with some of this stuff that we saw. So to my audience, have you caught yourself looking around and asking that very question, what is up? Like how I mentioned Trump was convicted on 34 felonies, but was sentenced to nothing? Sentenced to absolutely nothing? How's that stuff happening? Why are things the way they are in this world? I'll tell you, I've been saying it for over a year now. The answers can't be found down here for some of this stuff. We gotta look up, like my boy Joe Rogan is currently doing. Has anyone noticed that? Instead of attacking Christianity like he used to always do, and attacking the Bible and the reliability of it and Jesus. He's talking, he's having dialogue, he's having conversations with Christians, some who are scholars and some who aren't, but he's just searching for truth, even if it goes against what he's always believed. And I love that. I love truth seekers. I see a lot of that going on. Former atheists, former skeptics, former agnostics, just searching for truth no matter where it leads them. I see a lot of that going on college campuses these days, especially in the sports world. If we look to God and His Word, He will truly show us what is up. I still think the Bible gives the best answers and the best explanations for why the world is the way it is, why we are the way we are. If you need help or you want to know more, you can join me any Sunday at FBC in Dunkerton or online on our Facebook page if you're not in the area. You can email me. If you got my number, you can call me. You can text me. It doesn't matter. Email me, whatisuppodcast@gmail.com. I'll personally share the gospel with you so you can know for sure that God is real. He loves you, and He wants a relationship with you. That's why you were created. No matter who you are, what you've done, what you're doing, where you've been, He wants a relationship with you. But you got to choose Him. That's where the hope and the joy and the peace, the best things in life, that's where it all comes from. I've been on both sides of this thing. I'm telling you, there's one place to get all that stuff that will actually last. If you haven't figured it out by now, there's nothing on this earth that will satisfy us completely or permanently. There's nothing else you can put your hope in. No person, no government, no president, no preacher. We all got to look up. So if you're listening or watching, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode in stunning high definition. Whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to follow, leave a 5-star review, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think. There's a comment box, people. It's there for a reason. Put a comment in there. Then let your opinion be heard by answering our poll question. I'll come up with something clever for this one. But if you're watching in high definition on our YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment there. I welcome feedback, comments, even criticism. I don't like it, but I'll take it. I want to know what you think. Help me hit my goal this year of doubling my subscribers on all platforms, all my followers on social media. I want to double these numbers. Help me do that by sharing with everyone you know. Don't be embarrassed that you listen to this or watch this. Share it. Share that link. Thank you so much for listening or watching. I hope it really encouraged you guys. And as always, Lord willing, I'll talk to you on the next one.